What can we then expect at the polling stations on December 7th? Such dubious behavior from the EC could destabilize our democracy if left unchecked. Imagine the potential chaos on December 7, 2024, if the EC continues to release incorrect figures. What will be the security implications of their actions? If this is their dress rehearsal for the upcoming elections, then they must be told that they need to reconsider their approach, because this time around it will not be business as usual. The EC might be testing the waters with their rigging strategy by deliberately misrepresenting and miscalculating registration figures. Our prompt detection and exposure of these egregious errors should serve as a clear warning to the EC about the vigilance of the NDC. We are fully prepared to safeguard the sanctity of the coming elections. We expect the EC to now firmly renounce any intention, if it exists, to collude with the failed NPP government to rig the elections. Any such attempt will be decisively thwarted. The EC must commit to conducting free, transparent, unbiased, and credible elections. Despite the Electoral Commission's apparent display of incompetence before the Ghanaian public, we have no doubt about their basic capability to perform arithmetic. However, the persistent occurrence of calculation errors suggests a pattern that cannot possibly be dismissed as mere oversight. Should it emerge that these miscalculations are indeed deliberate, let it be clearly understood: any stratagem intended to manipulate electoral outcome through dubious recalibrations and misrepresentations will be destined to failure. Attempt to deceive or outmaneuver the NDC through such tactics will be met with uncompromising scrutiny and decisive exposure. Ultimately, these actions will only serve to unveil the deceit of those behind them to the entire world. To the people of Ghana, we want you to rest assured. The NDC remains vigilant and unyieldingly committed to safeguarding your votes. We like to ensure that every vote is cast, every vote is counted, and every vote is acknowledged in its rightful value. We urge the EC to promptly rectify the inaccuracies in the data release on May 12, 2024. We expect a thorough review and correction of all figures to forestall further errors, upholding the integrity of our electoral process. Issue 4, busing of minors to registration centers and the abuse of the Ghana card. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we are compelled to address another grave concern: the flagrant abuse of the Ghana card. It has come to our attention that EC registration officials, in collusion with elements across the FM, are misusing the Ghana card extensively. A particularly alarming instance was uncovered at the Pusiga registration center, where EC registration officer Muhazu Al-Hassan used a single Ghana card to register 20 different applicants. A single Ghana card to register 20 different applicants. Upon discovery, the police were promptly notified, leading to Muhazu Al-Hassan's arrests. Although he has since been granted bail pending further investigation, this incident raises significant concerns. The MPP's distribution of Ghana card to minors to facilitate their registration underscores a systemic manipulation of our electoral processes. The EC has lamented the registration of minors, yet conspicuously fails to challenge the National Identification Authority for issuing cards to these minors and misrepresenting their ages. Why is the EC's database not integrated with the NIA's to instantly verify the ages of new voters, especially when $54 million of taxpayer money was invested in 2020 to secure biometric registration capabilities? What purpose does the NIA serve as envisioned by President John Dramani Mahama if critical institutions like the EC cannot rely on it for essential verification and authentication during crucial national activities. Therefore, insist on a registration process that maintains continuous and immediate data connectivity to safeguard the democratic rights of all Ghanaians and to ensure that our electoral outcomes reflect the true will of our people. Why then did the EC not preempt these predictable issues of malfunctioning equipment and put in place adequate contingency planning? Their failure to do so has not only stalled the registration process, but has compromised the integrity of the entire exercise. We demand that the EC rectify this systemic flaw to ensure that our electoral processes are not only efficient, but also trustworthy. Again, why has the Electoral Commission failed to establish network connectivity redundancy? Why were there no fallback plans involving other telecommunication companies? This oversight has inflicted severe hardships on registrants, many of whom are unemployed young people and students with no income. These individuals have traveled great distances to registration centers only to be met with disappointment and an inability to register. Ladies and gentlemen, consider the plight of these unemployed youth who expend their limited resources to get registered only to get turned away due to the malfunctioning systems of the Electoral Commission. Does the EC not feel any obligation towards these young citizens? We NDC certainly do. Furthermore, how can the EC justify the misallocation of BVRs intended for the eastern region to Akotombra in the western north region and the Utu Senya East in the central region? How can such fundamental errors be tolerated? Can we afford to let EC's work be riddled with such basic errors? Imagine the potential ramifications of similar mistakes on election day. These glaring failures have only reinforced our determination to demand a comprehensive audit of the Commission's equipment and ICT infrastructure before the polls on December 7, 2024. It has become clear that the EC cannot be trusted without stringent verification. This audit must encompass both hardware issues, such as outdated or incompatible equipment, and software, including potential cyber threat to our electoral system. We are committed to ensuring the integrity of the biometric data previously captured and will leave no stone unturned in our pursuit of electoral transparency and accuracy. Issue 3. Incorrect registration figures released by the Electoral Commission. Now, since the current EC commissioners led by Jean Mensa took over, the Electoral Commission has alarmingly perfected the malpractice of consistently churning out incorrect figures in critical electoral activities. We all vividly recall the debacle of the 2020 presidential election results, which were marred by multiple corrections of post-declaration. Multiple corrections post-declaration of results. One would expect that such glaring blunder would have served as a vital lesson, yet it appears the EC remains resistant to change. How can a once esteemed commission falter so badly under the watch of a commissioner who fails to understand basic arithmetic? This raises serious concerns about the EC's capability to conduct a credible election, and the NDC is profoundly disturbed. And we are urging the EC to rectify these issues if they are indeed not deliberate. For instance, the EC published the registration figures for days 1 to 4 of the limited registration exercise on their website and social media on May 11, 2024. Our National Directorate for Elections and IT, tasked with independently verifying these figures for the NDC, immediately identified significant discrepancies between our calculations and those of the Electoral Commission. Simple arithmetic, accurately summing the regional figures from the 16 regions, would have clearly demonstrated to the EC that their numbers were wrong. Such mistakes are utterly avoidable. Why must Ghana's Electoral Commission be reduced to an error commission. It is imperative that the EC approaches the handling of electoral figures with the utmost seriousness, as these numbers are fundamental to the integrity of the elections. No voter should be disenfranchised due to careless errors. The EC must distance itself from any intentions of rigging and be warned. Any attempt to undermine the electoral process will be rigorously challenged and exposed. On May 12, 2024, the Electoral Commission issued a press statement acknowledging erroneous figures previously released and attempted corrections. However, they claim the total number of registered voters over the 4 days remain unchanged. This situation exemplifies what we term transpositional rigging of elections, where figures are shuffled between categories without affecting the overall total. The assertion by the EC that these errors